Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today I want us to talk about who are you? Rediscovering your purpose. Choosing to be intentional about who you are is a quiet, powerful act of self-care. It's a gentle way of rediscovering a purpose that's always been within you. Transforming your day from a series of reactions into a deliberate, peaceful journey where every step finally feels like your own. Hi, I'm Famika Griffin, and welcome to Being Intentional on Purpose, a space where we stop moving on autopilot and start choosing our steps with purpose, where we rediscover who we are without the titles and is able to feel seen, understood, and inspired to step boldly into who we are meant to be. I don't have all the answers by no means, but I am committing to finding them out. So pull up a seat, grab your drink, whatever rocks your boat, whether it's water, tea, coffee, beer, or wine. This is a judgment-free zone. And let's start being intentional on purpose together. Let's start today by just putting everything down. If you're driving, don't put the wheel down. Keep your hands 10 to 2. Keep your eyes on the road. Just listen. But mentally, I want you to drop the to-do list. Listen, if you're like me, you have multiple to-do lists in your head. From what all I need to do at the house, what all I need to do at work, what all I need to do for the children. I mean, there's just a plethora of to-do lists running around in my head right now. We spend so much time answering the titles, right? Like the mom, the wife, the manager, the parent, the partner, it's just so many titles that we forget to answer to ourselves. Who are you when no one is asking anything of you? So listen, I'll be honest. I hit a wall about 9 years ago when my mom asked me this serious question. Like, I don't know what was going on in her life at the moment or what she saw going on in my life at the moment. But man, did I hit that wall with the question. So the question she asked me was, Famika, who are you? Take away all your titles. Take away being a wife, being a mom, being a daughter. And at the time, I was still in the Army full-time, active duty, just going at it. So she was like, take away being a soldier. Take away being a leader. Who are you without the titles and responsibilities? It was really in that moment that I realized that I didn't know who I was. Like, I honestly thought that all those titles was how I identify myself. If you asked me at any moment, at any time of the day, who I was, I would have brought all those titles back up to you. I realized I was just performing my life. I was on autopilot. I was hitting goals, but losing my why. Intentionality isn't about trying harder. It's about choosing peace over pressure. It's okay if the version of you, the version of me from 9 years ago, 7 years ago, heck, 1 year ago, doesn't fit anymore. Growth often looks like outgrowing your old skin. When I tell you this was a hard question to answer when my mom asked, and to be honest, I don't think I answered the question that day. I honestly didn't know who I was without those titles, so I didn't know how to answer her. I was so used to being something to everyone that I lost who I was to me. I had to reach a point where I realized I needed to redefine or maybe just find myself again. And I'm so thankful that my mom asked that question in that period of my life, because ever since then, I have been finding myself again. Because for a long time, I'd unconsciously place all my peace and happiness in the hands of my husband, my children, my work. I found what I thought I was finding peace and happiness in it. It felt like the right thing to do at the time, but I eventually saw that It really wasn't like an impossible weight for them to carry, right? My happiness, my peace falls in their hands. That wasn't fair to them, and it wasn't fair for me to do that. And so, in the whole process of doing that, I was losing this game of my life. Who are you, Famika? So I started getting intentional. Like, I was truly being intentional on purpose without even realizing that was what I was doing in that moment, about my quiet spaces. I took solo trips, solo spa days, and I even started to have solo dates. Like, I was taking myself out to lunch and dinner. It wasn't an escape. Like, I wasn't escaping my titles. I wasn't running away from them. It was just getting to know me as a person. I had to learn that loving myself isn't a luxury. It's the foundation. Like, here's the truth. I live by this now, like, for real. Giving 100% to your family or your work requires you to first, listen to this, to first give 100% to your own self-care. It's a professional necessity. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you certainly can't lead or love with the energy you don't have. So by reclaiming my own happiness, I finally had the sustainable energy to show up for them the way they truly deserve. Now listen, I'm still a work in progress. I am still trying to figure out who I am. I am still taking those solo trips. But now I've started to include ladies trips and family trips and, getting my friends and family to also get to know this new version of me. So here's what I want us to do today and for this week. I want you to pick one identity habit, not a massive overhaul, just one thing a purposeful version of you would do. Maybe it's a 5-minute of quiet before you open your laptop. Because the world doesn't need more busy people. It needs more people who are truly present. For me, it would be 5 minutes of meditation with God. When I get up in the morning, I'm going to read my daily devotion. So I have a big brother who's also a pastor. We deployed together, and I love him dearly. And because of that relationship that we gained during that deployment, every morning, Pastor is going to send me a daily devotion. And so now I'm making it more intentional about making sure before I even start my day, before I get out of bed, I take those minutes and I read those daily devotion that he's sending. And I make sure that I go into the Bible and I take one of those scriptures out. And I just meditate and get closer to God in that moment before the chaos began, before the work begins, before mom and wife and now retiree working in a private sector have to start the day. Being intentional on purpose and forming that closer relationship with God, that's going to be the one for this week. The one that I'm going to start and I'm going to continue to do. But I also at some point will start to add to, right? You want to build up on it. But it is going to be what I start on my journey with this identity, my identity. Who am I? This is one thing that I want to include in redefining and rediscovering who I am. And that is adding that closeness to God to it, because he is my foundation. And so I know that doing so, that he will also help me get closer to knowing who I am and what it is that he wants of me for not just the year 2026, but years beyond. So let's take this week and let's really, figure out what is going to be your identity habit. What's that one thing for this week that you're going to be intentional on purpose about? Let me know in the comment box. But as always, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Don't want you missing out on any of the upcoming episodes. Well, until we meet again, which I'm hoping it is next week, I want you to have a wonderful week on purpose.